My name is Kiran Karnad. I am a director of Karnad's Banking Research and Development Foundation, Kolhapur. Friends, my today's topic is credit appraisal of loan proposals, preparation of loan proposals, pre-sanction and post-sanction inspections of the loan proposals, and credit monitoring of the advances. Now I tell you why this is very important. As a director of my foundation, I have been complying to most of the RBI inspections of the so many cooperative banks, but I have observed that the urban cooperative banks are lacking in credit appraisal of advances and loans. So, I would like to share my views and give my comments on the preparation of loan and proposal. Friends, the business of the bank, basically the business of the bank runs on accepting of deposit and giving loans and advances. If we accept the deposits, but if we do not convert them into advances or to investment, we may not get any revenue. If we do not get revenue, we may not be able to repay the deposits, or we may not be able to repay the interest on deposits. So therefore, the basic business of bank is grant loans, and we should grant loans in such a way that they are always performing. They are always performing, they are earning interest. And therefore, we have to grant loans in such a systematic way that they should go on continuing earning interest. Now, the real business of the bank is granting loans and advances to needy persons and earn interest on it. Apart from rendering services to members and customers, this is a real profession of the bank which gives a revenue by way of profit and income. By this, the bank can pay the interest on the depositors. What is a deposit and what are the loans and advances? What is a deposit? Deposit is a crux of a bank. Deposit is a raw material of a bank. When we accept a deposit, we can grant a loan or an advance to the persons and do a banking business. But unless and until we get a suitable person who is a needy and who can do a profession in a very systematic way, then only we can get his business fruitful. Now, why portfolio of advances need to be carefully planned and handled? I tell you friends, if the advances are not planned and systematically processed, they would be converted into NPAs and therefore would not be able to fetch any income to repay the interest of the depositors. Now, if we have to advance a particular person, previously 3 C's were required. What are the 3 C's? The 3 C's, the character, the capacity, and the capital. And the remaining 5 C's are the conditions and the collateral. Now, what is a character? A character of person is that he should be very sincere, he should be very honest, he should be very hard working, and he should be sincere to his profession. Whatever he does, whatever he earns out of that income, he should be able to repay the installment, he should be able to repay the interest of the bank also. And he should be honest to the bank, he should be honest to his profession. That is his character. If he is purposely avoiding the bank paying the interest or the installment, he may not claim himself to be an honest person. Now, capital. Friends, I tell you, banks very rarely finance a person to the extent possible, to 100%. A person has to share his profession to a certain extent. That means a margin is stipulated. Sometimes it is 10%, sometimes it is 25%, sometimes it is 50%, even sometimes it is more than 50%. The idea or the motive behind sharing the margin is that at least the person or the borrower should have a sense of belonging to the profession. He should feel that it is my business, I have contributed to the business, and therefore I should work sincerely to grow the business and pay the interest and installment to the bank. That is what the margin means, and that is what the capital is. Now, in public sector banks, sometimes 100% finance is being done, and that is why what the person or the borrower feels, I am not doing anything. Whatever the bank has been given is bank's baby, and the bank has to do and look after it. It is not my personal, so he can skip the work and he will do away with the work, and subsequently the account can be converted into NPA. Now, the third is the capacity. A person who is having a knowledge, the person who is trained, the person who is qualified, the person who is competent only can do a particular business activity. For example, if we have helped or if we have financed to a medical practitioner, if he does not have a medical degree, what he can do? If a profession of a carpenter, if we provide for a self-employed or business enterprise business, and if he doesn't have any art to do it, then naturally the business activity cannot prosper. So the person has to have the capacity, the intellectual, and the art to do that. He should have the qualifications, he should have the professional qualification, he should have the experience, and he should have varied sort of experience and a long vision to do the profession. Now, what is a condition? Now, condition is many a times. See, within a time frame, the borrower cannot complete as expected by the bank. So, what he has to do, sometimes the bank, in view of paucity of time, sanction the loan with a condition, or where the bank puts some condition they give. After sanctioning the proposal, after granting the loan, after disbursing the loan, it is the duty of the borrower to complete and to comply to the conditions, those which have been specified by the bank. So these conditions have to be complied. The last is collateral. What is a collateral? Now, sometimes the bank advances loan or grants a loan on hypothecation of certain things. Hypothecation of movable goods. The goods are always movable. There is no concrete asset is available. The goods are every day they are being changed. Even the possession is also with the bank with the borrower. So therefore, you cannot have a concrete charge on that. Tomorrow, if the borrower disposes of all his goods, the bank all of a sudden comes to know at the 11th hour and does not have he cannot do any go against the borrower. In such cases, a collateral securities has to be there. In such cases, a immovable property, a land, a building, a plot, or a flat, or in whichever condition it is available, but it should be immovable and embodied to the earth, that asset should be given as a collateral security. Now, what is a credit appraisal? A credit appraisal is assessing the quality, the repaying capacity, the economic viability, and the technical feasibility of the business activity. Now, what is the quality? See, if the business activity has certain quality, if it has to exist in a particular city, in a particular town, it has to flourish, and therefore it should have a quality. normal activities we do not have a scope cannot prosper and they cannot grow, and therefore for the business activity for which the loan has been granted may fail, and if they fail, naturally our advances also can be fail. The repayment capacity. The person to whom we are giving should be he should be a very honest and sincere person. He should be having a repaying capacity. His credit worthiness, his financial worth should be such that if his business fails, unfortunately, then he should be able to repay from his own financial sources and save the bank. Now, the economic viability. So, what is economic viability? If services are services are created, if goods are prepared, the cost of production and the cost of sale, the difference between the two is really a surplus. Means we have to see, after granting a loan to a particular business activity, he earns in such a way that, and when he sells his good, the surplus is naturally available, and that is economic viability. We have to calculate, if we grant a loan as per the demands for the particular goods, and if we give him some loan, out of that finance which has been given to him, if he manufactures or convert them into a final product, after selling them, surplus is available, and out of the surplus, he can very well repay the installments and the interest which we have given. That is economic viability. And now what is technical feasibility? As I said earlier, the person to whom we are granting loan should be competent. So, for example, if we are giving a loan to a builder, he should at least have a basic knowledge of a civil engineering. He should be perfect in that. If a person who is running a medical hospital or a medical dispensary should have a basic knowledge of a medical degree, in that way he should be technically feasible. A person who is having a business activity, and if he doesn't have any proficiency in that, if he doesn't have any qualification in that, naturally the business is likely to be failed, and in that case we have to see that he is a technical feasible. Even the business as well, we have to see the various business lines, the technicality of the conditions, and all the scientific points we have to taken care of. Now, what is a credit appraisal? Credit appraisal is to see that the credit given is very well safe and all the factors as above have been looked into. Now, I am turning it to the process of scrutiny of advances. As we know, see, every time at the last moment, a bunch of application is received by the branches or by the bank. In our urban cooperative bank, at the last moment, a date of meeting of board is declared, and when the date is known to the customers or to our members, all of a sudden they gather together and they throw their application, and everybody is in a hurry, and if he says that his loan should be sanctioned. In such a way, within a very short of span, he has to scrutiny the proposals, which are really important, which are really worthy, which are really worth doing. He has to look after those advances. And thereby, he has to scrutinize those applications and shortlist those proposals. Now, in those proposals, based on the availability of funds. If the funds are not available, if the CD ratio of the bank is 90% or 85%, when the basic CD ratio is expected of a bank is 70%, and if he has already exceeded his limit, then there is no point in granting a loan to a particular person. And the bank has to be very slow in giving a loan unless it is very urgent and as a very special case. So, if the CD ratio has a scope, if there is availability of funds, if there is an exposure limit, if the borrower comes and if he asks for 10 crores of finance from the bank, and if the credit exposure of the bank is hardly 2 crores of rupees, the bank cannot find 10 crores of rupees. So therefore, in such cases also, the credit exposure is also has to be looked into. The bylaws. If there is some business activity in which we cannot find finance, our bylaws do not permit us to give a finance, we cannot finance it. The loan policy of the bank. On the basis of the guidelines and instructions received by Reserve Bank of India, the bank has framed a loan policy, and we have to every time see that whenever loan application is received, whether it fits into the loan policy which has been already granted or we have framed. Now, pre-sanction and post-sanction and credit monitoring. Now, once we have shortlisted the proposal and once we decide that yes, I will do this proposal, then we have to carry out pre-sanction inspection. While carrying out the pre-sanction inspection, we have to see various things. We have to visit his residence, we have to visit his office, we have to visit his godown, we have to visit his factory, we have to visit each and everything which is required to be seen. Oh, what is a pre-sanction inspection? When in an application, the proponent gives lot of things. I am doing this, I am expecting this and that. He puts lot of things which may not be correct, which may not be true also. So the purpose of carrying out pre-sanction inspection is to verify the facts which he has stated in the application. And this is what pre-sanction inspection is. So, for example, if you go to a factory and if you see his stock, we have to verify the stock available, whether it is owned by the proponent, whether the stock has been taken on a credit by the proponent, whether the stock which he has already given on a credit, that we have to see. We have to verify whether the stock which he has taken on a credit basis has been repaid by him. If the time limit exceeds 90 days, perhaps it may be NPA. To his debtors, if he has already given or which he has sold his stock on a credit basis, and if the stock sold, the date becomes overdue by 90 days, that also becomes NPA. So all those things we have to see, and this is important, and that we have to see. Now, in particular, post-sanction inspection. Now, when we have disbursed the amount, we have paid the proponent by way of a check, by way of a draft, or by way of to certain extent a cash. We have to carry out a post-sanction inspection to verify the end use of the funds. For example, the application, the reason and the purpose for which the advance is been taken by the proponent has been given. When we carry out post-sanction inspection, we have to see the purpose for which the advance was granted, whether that has been met. Now, for example, if he wants to purchase a car or a vehicle, and if he just go spending his money, withdrawing the amount from the saving bank account and behave lavishly, spending all his amount for other things, misutilization of funds, naturally he may not have any funds to repay. Even, for example, in case of a kirana mal or retail trader, if he purchases some stock and the amount which he receives, if he doesn't pay to the bank and if he is misutilizes, naturally the post-sanction inspection gives purpose. So we have to see in a cash kit account, whenever the stock is reduced and if he is sold, the amount which he has received by selling the stock has been credited to his account or what. Pre-sanction inspection, as I said, is it carried on to inspect and verify the facts that have been already stated in the application. The importance behind this inspection is that a banker comes to know a true fact behind this. How a loan proposal is processed. Now, in a loan proposition, first the name of the borrower, the names of the guarantor, their net worth, their KYC particulars have been given. A person, his photograph has been given. And the economic viability, the economics behind this profession is also been given in detail. Now, what are the documentation? There are certain documents. Why documents are to be taken? Documents are written documents where legally they are bound to repay the amount. For example, tomorrow if the borrower doesn't pay, the bank can go file a suit against the based on the documents taken by the bank. The banks, those documents have to be stamped as per State Act, and those have to be properly worded, properly executed, properly signed, properly worded. And for example, those documents which we take are demand promissory note. First is demand promissory note. On demand, I promise to pay to the bank this much amount as a principal amount plus the interest charge on it per annum like this. This is a demand promissory note. If the borrower doesn't pay, the bank can sue the borrower based on the DP note. Now the pay bearer letter. A pay bearer letter is the bank has to pay to the bearer of this letter the amount which has been sanctioned by the bank. Installment letter. All of a sudden, even if the demand loan is there, on demand, even if the bank asks, the borrower may not be able to repay the amount because he has already invested the amount in his business. Therefore, some installments have been stipulated, and by installment, these installment can be monthly installment, can be quarterly installment, sometimes they can half yearly and yearly installments also. In case of a retail business, the installment can be monthly. In case of a crop loan or a agriculture advancement, the installment can be half yearly, 6 monthly, or can be even yearly also. Now, there can be a term loan agreement. Term loan agreement it's a combined composite document in which a DP note, installment letter, pay bearer letter, repayment capacity, everything has been clubbed together, which is a term loan agreement. Now, hypothecation of goods. When the person gets a loan and out of the funds granted by the bank, whatever he purchases has to be hypothecated as a security to the bank. Those goods which he purchases, which are likely to be changed in shape, by color, by everything, has to be hypothecated and me creating a charge on that particular goods. If those goods are sold, next goods, whatever are purchased, will be charged to the bank. So, documents or hypothecation of goods is to be also signed and executed by the bank. Mortgage of the property, as I said, since the size of the hypothecated goods are being changed by every time, the mortgage of the property of the owner, of the borrower, has to be mortgaged. Secondly, a declaration that he has not borrowed and would not borrow from any other bank. He has to submit a declaration that this is the only bank by which I have taken a bank. He cannot take alternatively so many loans and advances from other banks. So, to that effect, he has to give a declaration that he will not borrow funds from other banks also. Now, secondly, if he has a cash credit facility, he has to also give a declaration that he does not maintain any current account with any other bank. Now, when a loan is granted and given, it has to be repaid. So many a times, repayment period is confirmed or determined by the bank. If a demand loan is there, the period of repayment is 3 years. If it is a term loan is there, 3 to 5 years or 5 to 8 years or even certain up to 10 years. In a case of housing loan account, as a special case, as per the direction from Reserve Bank of India and Government of India, the repayment can be even 20 years. Even in educational loan, the repayment can be even more than 10 years. Initially, the education loan can be granted to a minor. When he will be qualified, take an education, he will be a graduate, and then after when getting employed somewhere out of his profession, he can repay as per the earnings of his profession. So, in this case, repayment can be extended. So, that is about repayment period. What is a cash kit account? So, the cash kit account, this is very important and very sensible. See, cash kit account is given for a finance for a working capital. And the cash kit limit is fixed for a ongoing business. There is no repayment till the stock is available. Till the stock is available, till the strong drawing power is available, drawing limit is available, there is no repayment and the cash kit account goes on. In India, lot of competition is there. There are credit societies, there are urban cooperative banks, there are nationalized banks, there are worldwide private banks, there are foreign banks, lot of banks are there. And even a particular lane, you will find there are 4 to 5 banks at a stage. So, I don't think it will have an impact. The service which a urban cooperative bank gives, that gives more important. See, in these banks, they will tell you, come tomorrow, day after tomorrow, you come after a week. Every time they will give a bunch of a list of papers. Every time they will change it. But in case of urban cooperative bank, person when is fixed by a banker, by urban cooperative banker, that he will give a loan, naturally he will give a loan, he will accommodate him. Now, as I have told, the lacuna or the shortcoming of urban cooperative bank is they are lacking the credit appraisal, the ratio analysis, the interpretation of balance sheet. Their comments in particular sanctioning a proposal is hardly 4 to 5 lines. And what I tell them every time, to make a very good credit appraisal, very good proposal, at the beginning of the proposal, if it is neatly processed, neatly planned, and if a very good credit monitoring is done, very good follow-up is done, nothing can happen and the account cannot be non-performing asset and we will have no problem. I was the Chief Executive Officer of Lala Urban Cooperative Bank, Narayangarh. That time, the percentage, NPA percentage was somewhere, it was 30 to 35%, even more than that. But when I went there, I saw the proposals were just done like anything. But what I did, we had a very good support from the staff. We had a staff meetings of the staff with the directors everywhere. When we thought of going to a particular, because there was no effort made by the bank, then we thought that collectively we will go to the particular, in a truck or in a big bus or through our various vehicles of the bank, we used to go together to the bank. We used to present a rose of flower to a particular borrower, take a photograph, he's shooting, and we used to say to him, we are offering a rose full of by defaulting our installment. You are the person who has made my bank a scapegoat. This has helped. People were made to act, and I tell you, because of the constant effort, because of very good effort, everybody, including the sub-staff, the night watchman, even all the members, even the sweeper, they used to help the bank by going to the borrower, each and everything, make a constant follow-up. In the bank, now the net NPA is 0%. And it is one of the strongest bank in the state.